Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Alkin Slice here. Just want to make a brief video just talking about my very brief experience of working for the Department of Veterans Affairs. So to begin off, I'm basically a disabled Navy veteran. I worked in the Navy for about a little over 5 years. I went through EMT training, I went through basic nursing assisting training, and I went through dental assistant training and dental lab training. So in total, that was actually 3 schools. I went through 1 A school and 2 C schools. So anyways, went through my time in the Navy, a little over 5 years. Basically was a good sailor. I got an EP on my evaluations, all that stuff I was looked up to is like basically being able to do a lot of stuff. I didn't just focus on one aspect of being a dental lab technician. I had experience making ortho appliances, pedodontic appliances for children, making basic appliances, like just all sorts of stuff. Like I would make study models for orthodontics, I would make Holly retainers, Essex retainers. Basic retainers is basically what you wear after you get like braces to hold your teeth in place. And also they make active ones that actually move your teeth, and so you don't have to have braces. And yeah, basically I did the pedodontics, which is a lot of that is like you have teeth removed when you're a kid. Basically the main thing you do is that you have your teeth removed when you're a kid, and somebody makes an appliance to basically put in your mouth to hold the distance between your teeth so your teeth have room to grow in. I did that too, a lot of that work. Also did a lot of full gold crowns, retainers, sports guards, porcelain crowns, all sorts of work. And I got an EP for it. So anyways, needless to say, I was pretty decent at my job, very rarely had any, negative input on my work at all. So basically, I got out of the Navy, worked, went to school for a little bit, and I saw a job opening at the Department of Veterans Affairs for a dental lab technician. Applied for it, ended up going to the, interview and the bench test. Interview went really well. The bench test also went well, but the equipment they gave me was not very good. They gave me one piece of equipment called the Blue Dolphin. If you work in the dental lab, Blue Dolphin is only one tool to basically carve out this wax, which I'm not used to. They also didn't give me waxer. They basically made me work with the flame and the wax, which is I'm also very good at using, but the wax they gave me was very low quality. So it was like, I would wax up like 90% of a tooth, 75, 90% of a tooth, and literally I would start carving out the anatomy and it would break apart. Never happened to me with the stuff I had in the Navy. It was just, so basically the interview went well. The bench test went okay. I was able to do most of the stuff they asked me to do in the bench test. I was able to polish the crowns and stuff like that. So anyways, what I want to get to with my negative experience with the VA is that, so I started working there, I was a Navy veteran. I felt very, excited about working there. Felt very excited to, help out other veterans and, give them the help they need because, working a dental lab technician job, you're like, a lot of people don't realize that when you get a tooth broken or you get a tooth missing, you don't want to smile that much, it's a big downer for you. So like, it just makes me happy to know that I can give people their smile back. So anyways, started working there, and my biggest complaints with the VA was basically, it just felt that they looked down on me because of my age. It felt that they looked down on me for different stuff. My big issue was that they would, so I would make an appliance that obviously is functional meaning that it works, does what it needs to do. And they say, oh, we don't like this. And so I'd say, okay, all right, what do you want me to change about it? Like what doesn't work for y'all guys about it? And you'd be like, oh, we just, we don't like it like this. Okay, what about it don't you like? We just don't like this. Okay, what can I do differently to make it better? Stop asking questions. Like they literally would not give me any information to do my job better. And any information they would give me would be vague AF, vague as fuck. So needless to say, I became a very stressed worker, very stressed, very depressed, because after that happened, I just started feeling like I'm stressed because I don't know what they want. And I felt depressed because I was like, I don't think these people like me. They would always make comments about my age because at the time I worked there, I was 28, 29. I was kind of the youngest person working there as far as I know. Maybe there was like 1 or 2 other people that were younger than me. Actually, there was a girl that was actually around my age that the second week she was there, she quit for the same reason that I was fucking stressed out. The lack of communication, they weren't very clear with us about stuff. Like literally 2 weeks, 2 weeks, good job. She quit. She said, I'm done, I can't do this anymore. I stuck it out because, I thought that maybe I would learn what they want. Spoiler alert, no, they don't tell me, they never told me what they wanted. They basically would be like, oh, we don't like this, I'd be like, what can I change about it? What can I do? Just blah, like some bullshit thing that I can't change. Or, they just might be like, oh, we just don't like it, maybe try something different. I try something different, they wouldn't like this either. So anyways, they moved me around to a bunch of different places, which caused a lot of stress to me because it's like, okay, you're moving me around, which makes me think that I'm doing something wrong, but you won't tell me what I'm doing wrong. You'll say, oh, we don't like what you're doing, but you won't tell me what's wrong with it. You won't give me input or feedback to fix what you want, which, by the way, I did the job in the Navy for, over 5 years. Like, I know how to do dental lab work. Like, I'm a dental lab technician. Like, I've made thousands of appliances. So, to me, it was just very frustrating. It just felt like I was being set up to fail. But anyways, so basically they transferred me from one department to another department. I talked to the manager of the department and said, hey, if there's anything wrong with my work, please come tell me what's wrong with my work. Tell me what's wrong. Tell me what you'd like me to do instead. Spoiler alert, he didn't really do that. I talked to him, he's like, yeah, I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Like, did it for a while. They're like, hey, good job. You're doing a great job. Wow, you're doing a really good job here. They came back like, hey, we want to move you to another department. And I was like, wait, I'm doing an amazing job. You want to move me? And it's like, yeah, we need people to work at this other department because we know we are having a hard time finding people to work back there. Went to my manager that was working with me, not my supervisor. My supervisor's a different guy. My manager in my original, my department that I was working at, that I was doing such a great job in. And I was like, hey, my supervisor says they're moving me. Like, is it because of me? Did I do something wrong? He's like, yeah, you just weren't up to our standards and all this stuff. And I was like, what do you mean I wasn't up to your standards? First of all, I barely did this, like what you had me doing here before I joined this, started working for the VA. And you sent somebody to train me. The person that trained me, by the way, they were very, very good at their job, but they weren't a very good trainer. There was actually one lady, the lady there that trained me. So I had one guy, he was a Chinese guy. He was very good at his job, extremely good. But just because you're really good at your job doesn't mean you're very good at teaching or training the job. But there was a lady that trained me a little bit and she was amazing. She's the one that gave me the ropes and basically made sure every time I would make a good appliance, it was because of the stuff that she showed me. But anyways, so I had this situation was I was getting moved to another department. I talked to my manager. He's like, yeah, you're just making you're making little mistakes and you just can't have that. I was like, why didn't I talk to you about this? I said, hey, I'm kind of new to this. I've done a little bit, I have a little bit of experience, but I'm not very versed in, it's called CAD/CAM, computer assisted design, computer assisted manufacturing. Basically means that you design the crown or dentures on the computer and then a computer basically drills it out and makes the design for you. So it's all done with computers. You just design on the computer yourself. And yeah, I was pretty stressed out and pretty ticked off by that because I was like, wow, I thought that after I went to this other department, I thought that maybe the guy would, I talked to him mano a mano and I was like, hey, I want to do the best job I can. Just give me feedback. He said, okay, cool. I'll definitely do that. And then he just went and complained to me to my manager, didn't even give me the time of day. Didn't even tell me hey, hey, you could do this different. You could do that different. It was just kind of out of nowhere because literally my supervisor would come and be like, hey, you're doing a great job. Sign the paperwork saying you're doing a good job. Obviously, this is where I gave you good marks. I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. Signed it. Apparently, I guess I was being lied to by my manager and my supervisor, and they wanted to move me to another department. So they moved me to a third department, which caused me a lot of stress and a lot of depression because I'm like, am I just not working? Am I gonna get fired? What the fuck is going on here? I don't know what's going on. Worked there for a little while. They wanted me to open up boxes and basically just outsource and insource the stuff and make sure it went where it went. And I was overproducing. They basically, the way they did is they did it on a point system, and I was actually outproducing what I was required to do at my pay grade. Your pay grade being I was a GS7 at the time. So I'd make 400 points a day. I would make anywhere between 450 to 600 points a day. That's over what I'm required to do. And my supervisor would come in and be like, hey, yeah, so this is just me doing your little one-on-one thing or whatever, you know, you're doing a great job, so we don't have to talk one-on-one, just sign here, you know, blah, blah, blah. I would sign it saying, hey, you're doing a great job. These are the points you have, which are excellent. Keep up the good work. So I signed it. And yeah, so after the first few weeks, I was really stressed out because I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I started feeling, okay, maybe they'll start respecting me here. Maybe they'll start seeing I'm a hard worker here because they're telling me, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work, man. You know? And so I basically worked there for 2.5, 3 months. And then my grandmother died. Like my grandmother passed away. This is before COVID. This is like back in like beginning towards mid-November. So I asked for some time off, which anytime I'd ask my supervisor time off, he'd be like, so like annoyed by it, even though I gave him notice. And it was like, I'm sorry, I can't plan a family member dying, dude. He would also give me crap whenever I would ask for time off for my VA appointment. By the way, the VA is all about like, hey, we want to help the patients. We're all about patient care. So you're just a veteran, like, hey, take care of the veterans. Anytime I go to him, I just felt this aura of him like being like, oh, you need to take 1 hour off work today? Oh, fine, okay, go put it in, whatever, you know. It's just very negative feeling. I actually would avoid my supervisor a lot because I had a very big sense he didn't like me. I had a very big sense that he had a very negative opinion on me. Nothing I did would ever change his opinion. He would kind of be like, hey, you're doing a great job, keep up the good work. But if I saw him in the hallway, I had this very big like negative feeling. There was actually a really cool guy that was actually in the Air Force that actually was a really, really, really cool supervisor. I really wish he was my supervisor. Maybe if he was my supervisor, I would still be there because I felt comfortable talking to that guy and telling him about my life problems and telling him about how I felt about things, which I kind of sort of did a little bit, but I kind of kept it down because one of the big things about working at the VA is that you have 1 year probation, and I was very scared that anything I said negative about the VA would be held against me. And yeah, I was scared of my supervisor. I literally thought that if I told him anything negative, anything at all that was negative, I would be looked down upon, and that would just increase my chances of being let go. Even though I'm working hard as I can, they're not telling me what I can do better. They're being vague about everything. They say, hey, you're doing a great job, you know? Because originally, you know, they said I was doing a good job, and they're like, oh, you're not doing too good. And then all of a sudden they move me to another department. Like, you're doing great. Oh my God, we're so glad we moved here. You're doing awesome. And then they move me again. And then I talked to my manager. He's like, oh yeah, we need to move because you're making little mistakes. Not a big deal. Making little mistakes, which I'm like, why the fuck didn't you talk to me about it then? I talked to you about this. Move me to another department. Anyways, so a lot of mixed signals, a lot of that kind of stuff, you know. I'm a disabled veteran that needed to go to the VA. And by the way, the hours I worked at the VA are the hours the VA is open. So if I need to go to the VA for any appointment where I get all my medical care, it's got to be during working hours, which I had sick leave and regular leave also. And I would give my supervisor, you know, notice like, hey, I would give him like, you know, several days, week 2 notice, like, hey, I got an appointment on this day. Hey, I'm going to put it in for this time. He'd be like, okay, cool. Or he'd be like, okay, yeah, put it in. It just felt that anytime as a disabled veteran, I went to him for stuff, he would just basically, it just felt that it was reflecting on me negatively, even though, you know, I was a Navy veteran, that's a disabled veteran. But anyways, so skipping to the end of my time there. And by the way, I'm really rushing through this. I'll probably make another video talking about it in the future. But skipping to the end, yeah, my grandmother passed away and I needed to take some time off. Went, talked to my manager, said, hey, my grandmother passed away. I was trying to ask him, like, do y'all have any special kind of like, do I need to put in like a special type of leave to be like, go to her funeral next week? Cause like literally it was like 3 days before like she died, 3 days later her funeral was happening. And you know, he's like, oh yeah, no, we don't give special leave for that. Just put in this leave, I'll approve it, it's good. He did approve it, he did keep his word. But later he's like, hey, we want you to come back into this department and do essentially the bitch work, which is basically like, they grab people and they make them basically open up boxes for like incoming cases that are like coming. It's basically like the bottom of the bottom work. And you know, I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that, whatever. And I went back there, like he said, we need to do it on Monday, because I told him on Friday because my grandmother passed away on Thursday. And so my grandmother passed away on Thursday, talked to him on Friday, said, hey, I need to take some time off. My grandmother's having a funeral next week. I really want to go to that, you know, support my mom. She's pretty upset about this. He was like, okay, yeah, go ahead. Did it. Later in the day, after hearing my grandmother passed away, he came to me and told me that, hey, we just want you to help us like open up boxes, do this stuff on Monday. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So go through the thing. My grandma's funeral was actually not Monday, it was like on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday. So come back to work on Monday, go back there and do the job he asked me to do. And I started noticing that, oh, I'm the only guy doing this. So I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. They're not gonna fire me, are they? Go through the entire day. People keep coming up to me and telling me like, wow, you just like, hey, dude, don't skip your break. Go take your break. You've opened up like, over 100 boxes, like 200 boxes. Like literally they're like, wow, you just have been working nonstop all day. Go take a break, man. And I was like, okay, yeah, sorry, I wasn't looking at the time. I was stressed out. I was like, hey, I think I might be losing my job. I'm working really, really hard to show them I'm a good worker, because I worked hard and they told me all the time, you're doing great. And then all of a sudden, say, hey, we need you to help us out here because you're such a good worker. I go there and I'm the only person working. So it's kind of like, okay, am I a good worker, or are they just saying that and they're just trying to basically put me in a position while they file some paperwork about me or some shit? And yeah, so go through the entire day, overproduce on my, I forgot what it's called, but basically they give you points, like each task you do, they give you a certain amount of points. I overdid the amount of points I was required to do for the day. Because I think, let's see, I got 3 points for each time I opened a box and basically put it away. I did I did over 150. I think I did like 160 boxes, which is actually like 70, 80 points more than what I was supposed to get for the day. Did that, left for the day when I was supposed to, left on time. And yeah, went to my grandma's funeral, came back, started basically doing my job like I'm supposed to. I came back in the morning, started doing my job. Well, actually, no, I came back in the morning because it was on Wednesday. And I went to the normal department of work. I was like, hey, what do you want me to do? Because that's what I do in the morning. I'd come in and be like, hey, what do you need me to do? Where do you want me to start? It's like, oh, go talk to the supervisor. He needs you to do something. And I was like, okay. Went to go talk to my supervisor, and he's like, yeah, just go open a box like you did on Monday, and yeah, if we need you to go back to your other department, we'll send you back there to go do that stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Open up boxes all the way until my first break. Went on my break, sat in my car, slept like I usually do because I was really stressed out and I was losing a lot of sleep from my stress and anxiety from the job. And yeah, started walking back. The department I worked in was across the street from a bus stop for the VA. And a lot of times people will see your little VA badge and your little VA smock. They'll basically say, hey, VA employee, and all this basic stuff. Like obviously it would say like, it said like Navy veteran on it. And so a guy stopped me, he's like, hey, oh, you were in the Navy. I was in the Navy too. I was like, oh yeah, cool, man. I was a corpsman. He's like, oh yeah, I was like this thing on the ship, or I was boatswain's mate or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, did you need help or anything? He's like, oh yeah, like I'm trying to get to the main hospital. So I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, if you just stay here for, I think like 5-10 minutes, or actually it might be a couple minutes from now, basically helping this guy out, helping a patient out, and saying like, hey, yeah, if you just stay here, take this and then get off on like I think it's like 2 stops from where I worked. Saying, yeah, you'll see when you see the main hospital, just get off there. You can walk there, it's easy. Walked back in from break, 1 minute late. And my manager would always tell me like, hey, if you're ever late, let us know. Anytime I would help a patient, or if you're ever late for helping a patient, let us know. But he was one of those guys like, yeah, just let me know. Yeah. He's saying it because that's what he has to say. But if you ever help a patient and you come back in, he's like, oh, wow, you're late again, huh? Runs off. Not necessarily run, he just walks off, he doesn't answer you, all this other stuff. So it's like he's just trying to be like, oh yeah, look at you, you're doing a bad job even though you're doing what you're supposed to do. Helping our veterans. How dare you help our veterans? But anyways, yeah, I came back in after helping this guy, telling him how to get there on the bus, and literally the day I got back from my grandmother's funeral, and yeah, went on there, worked for a couple hours, helped another Navy veteran actually find out how to take the bus to get to the main hospital, and walked in, saw my manager walking back, and I was like, oh my God. Because I was just, in my head, I was like, he does not give a shit if I was helping another veteran. He's gonna hold this against me. I was like 1 minute late. Like I was supposed to be back at 9:20, I was back at 9:21. I was like, oh my God. and say, hey, I need to talk to the office. Go back to the office. He says, hey, I saw him like he was sitting down, and I saw termination on the paperwork, and I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. And I mean, I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. But at the same time, I was like, this cannot be happening. They've been telling me I've been doing a good job for 4 or 5 months now, you know. They would like, literally, they told me I've been doing a good job and all this stuff. They need me to help out with this stuff. And they're like, yeah, we're terminating you. And I was just, at that point, my mind was just like, okay, fuck it. I'm done with this stress. I'm done with this anxiety. I'm done with feeling like a fucking second-class human being at a place that's supposed to treat veterans like they're fucking valued. I just did not feel like a valued fucking person. I felt like a piece of shit. And my manager definitely, not the guy who I liked. There was one guy who was a manager or supervisor that I really liked. Mine, I did not really like him because it had nothing to do with him. He kept saying these vibes that he just did not like me. And it was just nothing I said, nothing positive I did would ever do anything. I'm a disabled veteran. These take time off to go to my disabled veteran appointments for my disability. And he would basically treat me like I'm being like I'm just lying to him, even though I literally am on the same, like literally, I worked at the VA. I go to the VA hospital. I can bring back a fucking doctor's note if you don't believe me. And yeah, so they let me go, and I don't know, for like months, I've just been having dreams about it where I'm working, I'm avoiding, like, the gist of it is like I'm working there and it's just stressful. It's like they're just trying everything they can do, everything I do, even like slightly wrong. Like, oh, he forgot to, wipe his hands after he washed them with soap and water. He didn't drop his hands. We got to fire him. Like literally, like little shit like that. I'm having nightmares about being fired over shit like that. I'm having dreams where like I'm avoiding my supervisor at the time because I just know that if I talk to this guy, he's gonna fucking fire me. Like, cause I literally had that feeling for months before that happened. Even whenever I felt comfortable in my job, I still avoided him because he just had that, okay. Disabled Navy veteran, working at the VA. Like literally, like I had a VA appointment, I can prove it. I can show them fucking proof. And they told me, like, hey, you're doing a great job. Well, guess what? They let me go. I feel like I was at a disadvantage from the moment I worked there, you know. Maybe it was my age, maybe it was, something else about me, maybe it was my attitude, which I'm usually pretty professional. I mean, you don't get an EP by being a fucking asshole. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to make a video talking about the basics of it. I mean, I'll probably make another video, paraphrasing and all this stuff I'm talking about that goes into a little more detail about certain aspects of it. But that's the gist of it for the most part. I tried to basically talk to another YouTuber who went through a similar situation, I think at least. When I was working at the VA, I remember watching videos by a guy named Camelot331 about how he lost his job at GameStop, and he basically was put in a shitty situation where yeah, he was doing a good job. They fired him over some bullshit. He basically was being led, like, hey, you're doing a good job. They fired him over something fucking stupid. And I tried messaging him on Twitter about it and being like, hey, I tried to be a little bit funny, It was kind of a long message. I was just being like, hey, why did you make that video? Like, did you make it because you wanted to put the word out there? Did you make it because you were dealing with what I'm dealing with? Obviously, if you can't tell, I'm still stressed about the whole situation because it just feels like it wasn't in my control. I'm having dreams and nightmares about it. Was that what you did it for? Like, what made you do the message? Like, hoping that maybe he would give me some information that would help me out. And, says he read my message on Twitter. He never responded, nothing against him. Maybe he clicked on it and didn't really get around to his long message. Maybe he got, started reading it and he got distracted, whatever, but anyways, I just assumed that maybe he made his original video about being fired from GameStop after 11 years for some reason that I am being stressed out by my loss of my job at the VA is, feeling like it was completely out of my hands. Like they just basically, the cards were stacked against me, as they would say. Anyways, yeah, if y'all have any questions, have any comments, all that stuff, please, put it down there in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. I love all y'all guys. Please subscribe, it really helps me out. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, let me know. Any questions, put it down there in the comments and I will get to what I can. And I'll probably make another video about this in the future, giving more detail too. Not necessarily the whole thing in perspective, but, you know, just different. Maybe I'll make videos about different aspects of it. And yeah, anyways, I appreciate anybody who stuck around for the whole video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all guys listening. Have a good one. Hope y'all guys enjoyed that video. Sorry if I seem to ramble on quite a bit. I have a lot of mixed feelings about my experience at the VA. Mostly I felt like it was a very negative experience. And a lot of the video is just kind of me talking through the basics of how I feel. I definitely think I'm gonna make some more videos focusing on certain things I talked about, maybe some other stuff I hadn't mentioned in the video that you just watched. But anyways, if you stuck around to the end, you guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. I love making videos. I love being able to talk to people and sharing experiences and hearing other people's experiences. So yeah, love you guys. Please, I'll catch you on the next one.